Yeah, we at lunch with ReRe. Today. Probably go upload 3 back to back. The first one was talking about, the aftermath. Shayla, the record producer. We gonna talk about that. And then the one, Shayla, we still following in Amber footsteps. But y'all, this Damien skit, Damien has always been one of my most respected country writers or producers or whatever with their own storylines. Even back when he was doing Rico and, the whole gangster tip, I don't know what the reasons were. I really hate they stopped the skits with his mom and dad. I hope it comes back. But, a lot goes on behind the scenes that maybe we're not privy to. The reason the storyline just stops abruptly. Like even the storyline with Patty and the money Angelina gave for the comedy show or whatever. So it's just like it all stopped abruptly. But one thing I can say, the Amber, Anthony, and Shayla skit has been consistent in that regard. We have the same players, and we pretty much been going on. And I think that's why it's one of the most powerful skits. Not powerful, the most popular skits. I say powerful yet. Go hang on and see what the... We're going to be patient with that one. Amen. But Damien, and I can even say Mike Bless. And I'm not comparing the producers, writers, or the actors and actresses to one another. But those two storylines, anything involving Mike Bless storylines that he's responsible for, anything pertaining to, and I could even say Natasha's, the ones that Natasha has been responsible, they flow. We ain't gonna wait too long. They go keep on moving. They know we waiting. Yeah, they not gonna wait too long. They can't stay too long. They don't make us wait too long. They don't make us wait too long. But anyway, with all that being said, Damien Skip storyline, this recent one, that came out of nowhere, but that hit hard. I'm on my lunch break, so I ain't gonna go into detail why it hit. That skit is personal for me. When you have a family member, I knew my family member was on drugs. But when I found out, mine was kind of like the opposite effect, I guess. I was very in love with this young man. And then I found out he was a drug dealer on accident. And I kind of had asked him, I was very green when I was young. So I kind of asked him, was he into that life? And he had told me no. And I found out on accident. He clicked over, was talking to somebody else about some work. And I found out that way. And I broke up with him because it broke my heart because my family member was on drugs. And all I could think about from that point on, and I wonder if this is going to be a pivotal moment in Damien and Tamara's relationship. Drug dealers hit different when your family member is on it. Because all I could think about when I'm with this guy, when he's spending his money, all these things was, if my family member were to walk up to you, but you serve them, if you don't know they my family. And then I start thinking, have you served them before and didn't know it? Because you sold drugs in the same neighborhood, and this is back in the 90s, 93. You sold drugs in the neighborhood that my family member lived in. And I just could never get past that. Now, since then, in my old age, have I talked to people who have been in that world? Yes. It's not necessarily a deal breaker for me now, but I do. It's just mixed emotions when it comes to it now. That family member did pass away. Not from the drug usage, but basically you know what it does to your body over time. So this This goes back to the grand scheme of things with Country Wayne skits. Real life issues are being addressed, whether it's depressing to us, whether it upsets us, they are real life issues. That different people, just because you ever had a mama or a dad or a family member on drugs, doesn't mean that somebody else watching hasn't went through this same scenario. And then when you confront them, they go right back to it. No matter how much you love them, you can't love them out of drug abuse. Just like you can't love somebody like a Shayla. There are attributes in Shayla that I have been there myself. I have never intentionally manipulated a backdoor friend. But have I loved a man more than I loved myself before? Yes. I absolutely have been there. That's why it's hard for me sometimes in the comments to be anti-Shayla or be like too far on either side when it comes to the Shayla theme. How many of us have been Amber? Where you got a man that you know that loves you, respects you, wants to be with you, wanted and did marry you, but you got that other Negro that's kind of toxic that he just, he scratched that itch for you. How many of you been there? How many men have been Mike Bless? And a woman broke their heart and they went on a host roll. They started sleeping with everybody. How many of us been Mike Bless? Amen. Men or women, really. Man break your heart, so you're like, you know what? I don't even want to be with nobody no more. How many of us have been Dominic where you got hurt back to back and you just felt like such a fool, but you snapped for a minute. Amen. And all you want to do was cause pain on that person. How many of us been there? How many of us been Sunny? You don't even mess with them no more. But your heart is there with them and you love them. So they can still, the door is still open. But the door always gonna be cracked with that person because you love them. You had genuine love and friendship for them. So the door always gonna stay just a little bit cracked. Amen. How many of us know a Hollywood? I ain't been a Hollywood. But you know of a Hollywood who uses their children to get money from other people. Amen. Who don't want to work. Amen. Or Uncle Doodoo. How many of y'all got that Unc? He a hustler, but he be kicking some real knowledge. How many of y'all got an Uncle Doodoo? How many of y'all got a Melissa cousin, Nikki, who went through the abuse, but she stayed with him? A lot of us, or a lot of people who are judgmental in the comments, and they so hard on these characters, why not just watch it for what it is? If you've never been through it before, keep on living. You might, or you might know somebody who has been through it. Amen. And I think that's what makes the Country Wayne brand a phenomenon. It's a phenomenon because it's a little bit of everything. You can see yourself in different characters. You can see yourself, I might be 10% Shayla, but I ain't quite 50% Shayla. I ain't quite 100% Shayla. But you can see some part of yourself. That's why we watch it. Amen. That's the beauty of us watching it. That's why you have, I don't know how many reviewers it is. That's why you have so many different reviewers in Country Wayne land because, amen, there's such a wide spectrum. You can see a little bit of yourself. How many of us miss our grandmamas? Mama Brenda reminded me so much of my big mama and my mud dip put together. How many of us have that or had that and missed that? And every time you see Mama Brenda, a piece of you is reminded of how grandmama love and how grandmama keep it real. How many of us got that crazy cousin named Phil that every time you're around him, then you laugh? How many of us got that Ralphie? We like, man, come on, man up. How many of y'all got that ghetto cousin like Denisa and Momo? You like, damn, she just gonna be she's just gonna be looking for the bag her whole life instead of getting herself together. How many of y'all got Aunt Patty? Well, she really don't agree with Aunt Angelina. They two different, but you love them both. But Aunt Patty go tell you the truth, and she just go try to stay neutral. Amen. How many of you got that PR, or you been a little bit of PR, or you got that best friend, that's your best friend, and no matter how much you love that best friend, you still go look out for him and have his back. But deep down inside, if y'all could link up and be together, you would, because you love him, because he check all the boxes. But you know it would ruin your friendship. So we all are embedded in this country Wayne thing, not just for entertainment, because you see something in yourself or something in somebody you know in the Country Wayne skits. So I would challenge people today to just joy for the entertainment factor. But I do agree. Now, I meant what I said earlier, and I don't know what order I put these reviews in, but what I said earlier, I meant I throw in there Angelina, Amber, Anthony storyline. Those storylines are something that you cannot review, or at least I'm gonna say me. You can't review like right after it happened, because we got to let it go through the process. I've determined it for myself today. I can't do every skit that drop, because you're gonna be frustrated that way. We have to let it go through its process. We have to let it simmer. You can't look at the morning skit and the night skit, all them different. I think what I may do is like morning to night or evening or something, because you got to, that's a script, that's a storyline, that's the main storyline that we got to be patient with. We got to let it run its course. You can't judge the 9:30 by the 11:30. 11:30, the prayer part in this morning totally threw me off with Shayla. Totally threw me off. I was like, wait a minute, she done woke up and she an A&R person now. She producing like Dre the next morning. How did she get that epiphany? Then, focus on myself, and then she show up with almost the same outfit that Amber, same color, out the show that Amber had on. When is we gonna get Shayla some help? Amen. Writers, when is we gonna get Shayla some help? When is the counseling session? We can even send her to Tay, to Counselor Tay. Counselor Tay or somebody need to get hold to Shayla. Baby Shayla, we need to get her some help. Because the next thing, if the next skit, she got a Pixie, a Platinum Bob, we need to get Shayla some help. She calling on the Lord. But Shayla needs some help, y'all. Amen. And I'm going to get off here because my voice is trying to come back. It goes in and out. I want to be in a poetry contest tonight, but my voice going in and out. All I ask of y'all is that we got to trust the process with the Amber Anthony skit, and we got to give kudos to those skits that's really hitting home, that are really real life. That's why we love the skits. Because we can relate to it. Even if you don't want to admit it, we can relate to it. That's why he has over 9 million Facebook followers. Because we can relate to it. We got the homegirl, we got the friendship like Natasha and Ro. And even females, if we be honest, you got that Negro that he get all the points, and then that other one, you like, why am I even talking to him? Why am I talking to Charles? Then you got Kenny, where I think from Natasha's standpoint, Natasha really kind of afraid of being with Kenny because that's somebody she can settle down with. They match. But sometimes we scared of who we match with. Same thing with Rolanda and Malachi. Malachi not perfect. He a little toxic. He can be a little overbearing. He can be a little bit controlling. But that's what Ro need. If Malachi was actively with Ro and they were where they are now, there's no way he wouldn't have noticed that she was on drugs. There's no way he wouldn't have noticed that she was popping pills. But he was so all over the place, he wasn't really paying attention to her. He still had animosity. He's still in a wheelchair. But if he was in his conscious alpha male mind, he would have knew that his woman was having problems because he would have been focused on Ro. I think Ro is kind of scared of that alpha mentality from Malachi. I'm just saying, y'all. Y'all ain't got to agree with ReRe. I ain't got nothing but 600 little followers. But I tell you, if you follow me, our names is the real ones. I just want you to be real with yourself. If you follow me, I just want you to be real with yourself. Amen. And I said in this time in life, I got crazy faith, y'all. I really do. I got some crazy faith right now. I got crazy faith that one day I will meet Kountry Wayne in person. I got crazy faith that I will meet Tyler Perry one day. Now they may or may not. I got faith that I could at least get a walk on because I'm coming from my heart with everything I say. I'm coming from my soul. I can't be nobody but me. And just like Wayne told Shayla, until you can be yourself unapologetically, not compare yourself to nobody else, not try to be like, you ain't gonna never find your true happiness. You got to find you. You got to love you. Each one of these characters, the fans, it's a little bit of yourself, or you wouldn't follow it. You wouldn't be so emotionally attached to what's gonna happen next. That's why we here, Kountry Wayne. And I was too critical when I put the video, that I just want Jesus to pop again. Now that I got the full lens on, Jesus been popping. He didn't ever stop popping. But when you watch it every day and it's up and down, that's why we can't watch that storyline every day. Now, I'm not saying don't watch it. I'm not saying that. Let me correct that. I'm saying you got to watch it you got to let it flow. You got to go and watch episode 1, 2, 3, 4 so you can see where he's going with the vision. Because if you watch 1, 2 might be totally different. Then 3 might be like 1, and then we got to run the course with that one because that's the main storyline. But I ain't gonna hold y'all too. I can't stay too long. I gotta go back to work. I gotta keep on talking, cause my voice been leaving. I can't lose my job doing these reviews, so I can't stay too long. I gotta go back to work. I'll see y'all later on. And this has been ReRe, recap of the day. Y'all don't watch none other one. Y'all watch this one. And let me know if you can relate. And if you can relate, click, share, and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. I ain't getting no money for this, Wayne. I'm just speaking from my heart. I'll talk to y'all later.